Hi, I'm Bruce Mazzie, and welcome to This Old Car.
This week on This Old Car, Bruce stops by Joe's Upholstery to check up on the completion of the interior of Buzzie's 1935 Ford Phaeton. And then it's off to Mount Airy, Maryland, where we check in with Vintage Restorations to see the progress on the 1959 MGA.
We're back here at Joe's Upholstery to see what Donnie Jenkins and his crew did to finish up the upholstery on Buzz Potter's 1935 Ford Phaeton. He's done the top and the interior. Let me point out a few details. The interior seats are done in leather, just like it was originally when it came off the assembly line. Nice detail. Got stainless steel or chrome screws along the side. Brand new kick plate. New carpets. The carpets are reproduced just like they were then. Also, you see the stripes in the seat. Two on either side, the driver's side and the passenger side, and there are two in the back on the leather. On the back of these leather seats, where the back and the front mate, there's a tacking strip, nice detail. And inside this little space here are the heads of the tacks, which you cannot see. That was just the way they did them originally. And then over on the corner here is a nice end cap made of stainless steel. Inside here, we'll look at the floor mats. The floor mats are made of rubber. They're reproductions, made just like the originals by a reproduction supplier. And also, if you'll notice the back of the seat here, there's a little space. It's just behind the back of the seat. This seat pulls forward, and there's a little storage for the jack and the jack handle and so forth. Also, what we have here is brand new top irons made of stainless steel. They were custom made by a special reproduction house just to match this car. They're just absolutely beautiful. The workmanship is superb. And you might notice also up front on the windshield a wiper which is heart-shaped. These things are rarer than hound's teeth, but Buzzy found one, and there it is. A good deal of research goes into restoring a car like this, and I'd like to point out a couple of publications. This is a book about 35 and 36 Fords alone, and it has a lot of details in it that the restorer needs to have to do the car properly. You can even see the color chips for the outside colors of the car that were available then. There's also a checklist in here, which covers all of the things that need to be done in restoring a car like this. And still another publication is the cars that Henry Ford built that Buzzy used to determine his colors. There are a variety of cars in here and a variety of colors, but this material is very important in doing the restoration and doing it properly. I'll put these back in the car since they belong to Buzzy. We're back in Mount Airy, Maryland at Vintage Restorations Limited to follow up on the 1959 MGA that John Tokar and Joe McGinnis are working on. Let's go inside and have a look. Hi, Joe. How you doing today?
Hi, Bruce.
Good. You're going to change the rocker panel today.
Yeah, we're going to put the inner and outer rocker and the B-pillar on it today.
The door fits between these two panels, and what Joe's going to do is he's going to put the beam in here and this piece after he takes this rusty piece off. Go ahead, don't let me stop you.
Okay. What I'm doing here is I'm drilling out all the spot welds.
You're taking out the spot welds with your drill. Good.
Yeah.
A lot of spot welds, Joe.
Yeah, these British cars, they put them in pretty heavily. Okay, hopefully this should come out pretty easy. If I didn't miss any spot welds, this should come off.
Joe's running that chisel right down between two pieces of metal. Just a couple more and he'll have it off.
I'm going to replace this piece and these pieces right here. You can see they're pretty rotten. And this is the panel that kind of goes right up in there. So I'm not going to bother drilling these spot welds out. I'll just chisel them out with my air chisel. The reason you drill the spot welds out is so that you can keep this metal pretty much intact, so that when you go back to weld it back on, you can just fill in the plugs in the holes. These areas right here, I used a little different technique. Instead of drilling all the way through, what I'm going to do is when I put the new panel on, I'll put the panel on and I'll drill through from the other side, or I'll weld through from the other side and fill the spot welds in. These pieces, I'm not exactly sure where they're going to line up. So I didn't want to drill any holes in there. And what I'll do is I just ground these pieces. Hit the spot welds with a grinder.
Off they come.
Yeah. A little bit of help. Let's see. There we go. See, as you can see, the metal is still good.
Still good.
That way I can position that piece
so you can weld on it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll grind it.
What Joe's going to do next is remove the door post with his Chicago pneumatic air-driven chisel. He's going to chisel down the side here, and that piece should fall off. It will be replaced along with the brace that goes in here. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. Go.
Right here, Joe. There you go.
Get it, Joe.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let me see. Make sure I don't cut too much off here. Okay, I guess what we say. we go.
Voila! It's dead.
No more rust. As you can see, it was pretty bad.
Big hole in the side
Yeah.
here. All rusted out. Backside doesn't look too bad.
No. That's got a fair amount in there.
Pays to start anew.
Yeah. When I actually put the fender up, I can measure this distance from here to here.
I see. You know that distance from me.
Yeah, you can measure them and maybe put them in the right spot, but that doesn't always work.
Yeah, this is a new part, an aftermarket part, with the frame that goes inside the rocker panel and the door post already affixed to it. Comes from Morse Motors in California. Why don't you put it up here, Joe, and show us where it goes. Oops.
This is the hole. Oops. Roughly goes up there about like that. I'm just going to rough dolly some of these areas so that we can test fit these pieces up here. And get over here. See how everything lines up. Okay. This piece right here, it's flat piece, I'm going to have to make that. They sell it, but it's just a flat piece of metal, so we just make it.
Yeah, we'd like to see you make that too.
Yeah.
Good.
Actually, I should probably do that first. So that'd be the first piece to put in for the puzzle. Okay, I need to stick this piece up here. Just see about where it's going to come. Okay. Oops. And I'm going to cut it a little big, just because I can trim it later. The piece butts up to this piece, so I'm going to measure from here. And what I'll do is, I'll measure it a little big. I have about, I guess I'll go 2 feet 1 inches. Okay, and the height-wise, I'll just measure this, I guess, and I'll add 2 inches. That'll put it at about 8 inches.
We'll be back with more of This Old Car.
This machine here is it's a 3-in-1 machine. It's a metal shear, which cuts the metal. It's a metal brake, which will bend it. And it's a roller up here, which will roll cones or different shapes. And I already cut it lengthwise. I'll just put it up against this stop. That gives you a nice 90-degree bend. Then you just pull the lever down. Gives you a nice,
very nice
square edge, easy to work with.
You gonna put any angles on that?
No.
Just a straight piece.
Yeah. This is flat with a few holes drilled in the bottom for the fenders.
Well, let's go back to work.
Okay. This is the first piece that we have to put on. I'm going to put it over top of this piece. So I'll just stick it up there. Clamp it with my vice grips.
Trusty vice
Maybe.
grips.
There we go.
In this
Now-
business, you can't have enough vice grips, just like enough garage space.
Yep, yeah. Let me drill some holes, and I'll put some clecos. This vice grip is going to be in the way of this panel here, so I have to put some clecos in there to help hold it. Take this is a cleco.
The cleco is a hole clamp. You put that little pin in the hole and release the plier and holds it right in there like a clamp. It doesn't use much space.
Just put it in the hole. It's got a quick release too. Sometimes you can use a screw, but These come out pretty good. Okay, let me drill another hole back here. Put another one in back here.
Oh, nice.
Okay, now this slips right up underneath here. Did you put a vice grip on the back of that? Let me hold it up in place. That's good enough. If you could just...
There you go. Now again, Joe's going to have to put the door in here to make the final fit.
Yeah.
Get the distance right between the two door posts.
Okay, you can see we have a lot of extra down the bottom here. Okay, I guess now we can put this piece in. I'll just slide it in behind here. And it comes down like right about there, I guess. Let's see.
This is all necessary to get the final dimension on that piece of metal Joe cut.
Okay, something tells me these holes, let me slide it forward so that these holes line up.
The importance of that, if these holes are drainage holes, the importance of the technician knowing where he was before is important. Joe's worked on MGs quite a bit. Another fabricator might not know that.
Okay.
Might not be as smart as Joe. That's a nice tool. Is that made by Vice Grip also?
No, it's not. Actually, it's specially designed so that you can crimp it, say, in a pinch weld. Mm-hmm. Oops. And this way, I can close the door.
I see.
It won't get
Nice tool.
It won't get in the way of the door. Which I think is our next step, is to put the door on. That doesn't look quite straight up and down, does it? Okay, let's put the door on. This door is made out of aluminum. It's pretty light, but if I could get you to hold the back for me, Bruce.
Sure.
Go ahead and put this on. Oops.
Remember now, this is a dry fit. You want to see if it fits. You may have to make some adjustments. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay.
See what you get.
Oops.
Doesn't
Nope.
make it, huh?
No, it's quite a bit off, actually. Let's see.
The advantage of using clamps is that you can keep moving this to get it in the right position. So when he welds it, it'll be just right.
Okay. And as you can see, I'm way off. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're going to have to take it back over and take it back off and start from scratch again.
So paste it up again, huh? Yeah, the bottom needs to go to the rear a little bit, huh?
Oops.
There you go.
A little bit better. Actually,
Much better. The old and the new. Next time we visit here, Joe will have this welded on there. Let's go over to the other side of the shop where John Tokar is going to be putting a fuel pump on an MGA frame. Let's have a look.
Okay, what we have is a 1957 MGA chassis, and today I'm going to be installing a remanufactured SU fuel pump. The fuel pump is installed in the rear section of the frame. And the area I'm going to be working is back in this area. Normally the MGA had two 6-volt batteries hooked in series, but this customer actually wants a single 12-volt, so we only have one battery rack. And the fuel pump is installed just to the outboard side of the battery, right on the frame rail here. Okay, we have the fuel pump here, and it's gotten from Morse Motors Limited in California. And they have available original parts made by SU. And we're going to take it and put on the installation kit, which is here. And this is a very authentic looking pump. It is, as I said, remanufactured and available to make a nice job when you install it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just put the installation kit on and have that ready to mount to the frame. So just go ahead and put some washers on here. Okay, slice my weight. Okay, mounting bolts in, mounting a rubber. Okay, we'll go over to the frame and install it. Okay, go ahead and put the pump in. Mounts to the frame with 2 bolts with nylock nuts for vibrational purposes so it doesn't loosen up. Tighten her up. So this is an electric pump, and it's activated when you turn the ignition key on. Unlike a lot of American cars, British cars have something called a Whitworth thread. This looks close to 9/16, but in actuality it is a Whitworth thread. It's a 5/16 Whitworth, which was a standard that was used in England around the turn of the century. And the only thing that needs to be done at this point is to take the fuel line and run it from the front of the frame toward the rear of the frame and hook it up to the top of the pump, and then the pump will be installed. And then, of course, wiring it. The wiring harness will be installed shortly also.
Next time we come back, Joe will have welded on the brace, and then while we're here, he'll weld on the rocker panel if he hadn't done it before we get here. But we also want to catch up with him when he takes the front end off and replaces it. It's out being glass beaded now. When it comes back, he's going to put it on here. Well, that's it for today. For This Old Car, I'm Bruce Mazzie.
Thanks for watching This Old Car. Bruce will be back next week with more great classic cars, fact-filled interviews, and restoration tips. Until next week, I'm Chuck Baker for This Old Car.